Chosen ones. They've been watching you since you were born. You won't believe who they belong to. From the very first moment you drew your first breath, from the instant your tiny body moved and your fragile lungs filled with air, eyes were upon you. Not just any eyes, but eyes that have witnessed every unspoken thought, every trembling fear, every hidden desire, every secret tear. Invisible watchers, silent sentinels, tracking your every heartbeat and the rhythm of your growth, unseen yet intimately present. And while the world around you moved on unaware, they remained, existing on the periphery of your life, shaping, guiding, observing. You may never have realized it, but nothing about you has been untouched by their gaze. They belong to realms and forces that defy ordinary comprehension, entities and consciousnesses so profound, so intricately entwined with the fabric of existence, that to speak their name in the open would change everything you believe you know about reality. From childhood to adolescence, from the first steps to the first stumbles in your life, they were there. Watching not just to see, but to understand. Watching not just to witness, but to assess. And in this quiet, hidden observation, they learned the contours of your being, your dreams, your fears, the moments that made your soul shiver, the moments that made it soar. Every subtle motion of your life has been cataloged and understood. And now, as you grow older, you might begin to feel it. That sense that your life is under an invisible current, that strange alignment of coincidences, that moments of intuition that seem almost like messages, that sense that someone, something, has been quietly holding a space for you all along. This is no mere metaphor. This is literal. This is tangible. And the connection is more ancient than you can imagine. Before we dive deeper, take a moment to engage. Watch this video till the very end. And if you feel compelled, leave a comment with your warmest wishes for yourself and the number 66. This number, revered and mysterious, is said to carry a resonance with the universe, a vibration that can amplify intentions. When you pair it with your genuine, heartfelt wishes, it is believed to energize the cosmos itself, to ripple across the unseen layers of existence, nudging reality ever so subtly toward the fruition of those dreams. Your participation, your conscious act of placing these wishes into the universe, is a step that aligns you with forces you've always felt but never fully understood. It is a call to awaken the dormant energies that have been tracking your life, to interact with the watchers, to communicate your intentions to them, and in doing so, to feel the immense power that is your birthright as one of the chosen. Chosen one, your destiny awaits. Like this video, subscribe, and walk with us into the light. The watchers are not abstract. They are entities of extraordinary awareness, born from planes of existence beyond ordinary perception, existing simultaneously in multiple dimensions. Some are older than humanity itself, some are fragments of cosmic consciousness, and some are beings once mortal, elevated to a higher station through knowledge, experience, and the refinement of awareness. They have watched, waited, and learned, not as predators, not as manipulators, but as guardians, curators, and observers of a delicate design. Your life is a puzzle, and they hold its pieces in ways that humans cannot easily comprehend. And though the idea may seem overwhelming, frightening even, there is an innate sense of protection that accompanies their presence. Every near miss, every moment of serendipity, every inexplicable twist of fate is often their silent intervention, a gentle nudge ensuring that your path, though seemingly random, follows a subtle, orchestrated pattern. These watchers communicate differently than we do. They do not speak with words. They do not write in letters. Their language is layered within life itself, in synchronicities, in fleeting glances, in instinctive knowledge that arises suddenly and without explanation. Have you ever felt compelled to take a certain path, meet a certain person, or make a seemingly inconsequential decision, only to realize later that it changed everything? That is their language. That is their way of guiding the chosen. And every choice, every interaction, every alignment in your life is cataloged and interwoven with the broader tapestry of their observation. They see the unseen, they understand the incomprehensible, and through this constant awareness, they maintain a balance, not just for you, but for the larger order that extends beyond time, beyond space, beyond what most mortals can perceive. The chosen ones are not necessarily the famous, the powerful, or the extraordinary in the conventional sense. They are ordinary people with extraordinary significance. Their lives ripple across reality in ways that are subtle yet immense, often unnoticed by themselves until a moment of awakening occurs. And that awakening, when it happens, is profound. It is the realization that life has always been watched, protected, and influenced by forces greater than themselves. A sense of awe, perhaps a touch of fear, and certainly a deep reverence accompanies this awakening. The chosen ones carry within them not just a personal destiny, but a connection to the watchers themselves, a tether that has existed since birth, invisible yet unbreakable. Some skeptics will scoff at this idea. Some will dismiss it as fantasy or delusion. Yet the evidence lies not in grand public displays, but in the subtle patterns that repeat across lifetimes, in the strange coincidences, the persistent feelings of guidance, the moments where the universe seems to respond directly to thought and intention. Science may struggle to explain it. Logic may attempt to dismiss it. But those who are attuned, those who are truly chosen, will recognize the unmistakable signature of their watchers. It is the feeling of being seen, completely and utterly, from the very moment of existence, of knowing that nothing about you has gone unnoticed, that every struggle, every triumph, every quiet moment has been observed with care and consideration. And yet, there is also a cautionary aspect. To be chosen is to carry responsibility. It is not merely a gift, it is a weight, a duty to recognize the patterns, to honor the observation, to align with the forces that have watched over you for decades, even centuries. To ignore it is to risk misalignment with a trajectory that has been carefully prepared. To embrace it is to step fully into the network of energy, consciousness, and guidance that surrounds you. The watchers are patient, but they are also precise. And while they will guide, they will not force. Every action, every intention, every moment of awareness is a choice that either harmonizes with the currents around you or resists them. You may wonder, who exactly are these watchers? They are many things at once. Some are individual beings, ancient and wise. Others are collective consciousnesses, formed from eons of observation and experience. Some are elemental, tied to the forces of the cosmos itself. Others are remnants of past civilizations, guardians of knowledge too vast for the human mind to fully contain. And all of them, in their own ways, have recognized you, the chosen one, as someone of particular significance, someone whose life is intricately linked to the broader orchestration of existence. They watch not out of curiosity alone, but out of a recognition that your life matters, that your growth, your choices, and your very essence contribute to the unfolding of reality in ways you may never fully understand. And so, as you move through life, consider this. Every glance, every whisper, every moment of inexplicable intuition may not be coincidence. Every alignment, every synchronicity, every instance where fate seems to intervene is often the touch of watchers, those beings who have been observing you since birth. They belong to realms that defy simple description, and yet their influence is deeply personal, deeply intimate, deeply real. And when you recognize their presence, when you feel the pattern, when you sense the guidance, you step into a reality far greater than you ever imagined. A reality where you are not alone, where your life has meaning, and where the unseen forces that have watched over you since the very beginning are finally acknowledged. You may have felt it in the quiet moments, in those late hours of the night when the world falls silent, and your mind begins to drift beyond ordinary thought. That faint sensation of being seen even when you are alone, that inexplicable feeling of presence just beyond the edge of perception, it is not imagination. The watchers exist in frequencies that your physical senses cannot easily interpret. They reside in spaces between thoughts, in the fractions of time that slip between seconds, in the gaps between breaths. Their awareness is not bound by linear progression. They observe the totality of your existence at once, past, present, and future, as a single, fluid moment. That is why, at times, they seem to anticipate you, why certain doors open before you knock, why warnings come before danger, why comfort appears just as despair begins to take root. These moments are not accidents. They are designed intersections, subtle yet precise interventions that weave the trajectory of your life into a greater narrative. The Watchers have studied humanity since its earliest whispers, not as rulers, but as archivists of experience. They understand that consciousness evolves through struggle and revelation, through repetition and choice. And those among you who are chosen are threads of a higher design, conduits for the evolution of awareness itself. Your emotions, your experiences, your decisions are data, energy, resonance. Every vibration you emit informs their understanding of creation, and in return, their influence molds you toward clarity and realization. They operate in silence because the human mind, still tethered to the density of material reality, is rarely ready to comprehend their full presence. To appear openly would distort the delicate balance of free will, so they hide in plain sight, within synchronicities, in symbols, in patterns that repeat until you finally notice them. Numbers, dreams, recurring names, even the placement of people and events in your life. All of these are their methods of communication. They have no need for words because they speak in reality itself. When you finally begin to listen to life as if it were a message, you start to hear them clearly. Some Watchers belong to what could be called the cosmic intelligence, an immense consciousness that permeates everything. It is not a being in the traditional sense, but a field of awareness from which all other forms of intelligence arise. Others are individual fragments of this greater mind, operating as distinct entities with purpose and personality. There are Watchers aligned with the stellar currents, connected to the vibrations of planets, suns, and constellations. Others are tied to Earth itself, guardians of the human spirit and the planet's energetic harmony. And some are older than both, remnants of the first awareness that ever existed. Those who witnessed the dawn of all forms, whose gaze has never wavered from the unfolding of creation. Every chosen one carries a signature frequency, an energetic code that makes them visible to the watchers. It is this code that draws attention from the moment of birth. It cannot be erased or disguised. It is who you are on a fundamental level. To most people, life is a series of random events, but to the chosen, those events are a dialogue. When you meet someone and feel as though you've known them before, when you arrive somewhere and sense a familiarity that transcends memory, that is resonance at work. The watchers align frequencies so that certain encounters occur precisely when they must. Every heartbreak, every victory, every detour serves a purpose within their pattern. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is meaningless. In ancient traditions, these watchers were described in many forms, as angels, as ancestors, as celestial messengers, as invisible teachers. Each culture gave them different names and stories, but all spoke of their unbroken vigilance. Over time, as humanity's perception narrowed, these ideas were dismissed as myth. Yet the myths remain because they are echoes of truth. The chosen ones throughout history, prophets, visionaries, healers, innovators, all felt the same strange connection, the same sense of being guided by something beyond comprehension. They were not chosen to rule, but to awaken, to embody awareness that transcends fear, and to act as bridges between worlds. You might wonder why the Watchers care so much. Why you? Why anyone? The answer is both simple and profound. You are part of them. The Watchers are not separate from you. They are extensions of your own consciousness at higher levels of awareness. They are you beyond the veil of forgetfulness. When you sleep, when you meditate deeply, when you slip into states where time dissolves, you sometimes catch glimpses of their realm. You meet them in dreams, disguised as familiar faces or symbolic figures. That flicker of recognition you sometimes feel when looking into a stranger's eyes, that's a reminder, a message from your own higher self. We are watching. We are with you. We are one. Their observation is not judgment. It is participation. They do not watch to condemn, but to assist your unfolding. Each test in your life, each moment that seems unbearable, is an opportunity to reveal strength, patience, or understanding that already exists within you. When you fail, they do not withdraw. They adjust the flow, creating new chances for you to learn. The chosen ones are never abandoned. Even in the darkest moments, when all seems lost, when you feel utterly unseen and forgotten, they remain. Silent, patient, waiting for you to lift your gaze again toward the unseen world. Many people mistake their presence for coincidence, superstition, or paranoia. But those who begin to awaken experience undeniable confirmation. They start noticing that the same patterns follow them, that their intuition sharpens, that they can sense when they are being guided. The Watchers encourage this awareness because it bridges the gap between realms. The more you notice, the clearer the communication becomes. But it requires humility, trust, and openness. You must not force it, you must allow it. Forcing connection leads to distortion. True communication with the Watchers happens in stillness, in receptivity, in surrender. At certain moments in your life, often after great loss, change, or revelation, the Watchers step closer. You may feel electricity in the air, see repeating signs everywhere, or sense eyes on you when no one is there. These are moments of alignment. They are reminders that your path is approaching a threshold, a shift in your destiny. Some call it awakening. Others call it remembering. It is the realization that you were never alone, that your entire life has been a conversation between you and the invisible intelligence that has watched you since birth. Once you reach this point, there is no going back. You cannot unsee the pattern. You cannot return to the illusion of randomness. The Watchers are not to be feared. They are not predators lurking in shadows. They are witnesses to your evolution, co-creators of your experiences, and custodians of your potential. The fear you might feel when you sense them is only the fear of the unknown, the mind's instinctive response to something greater than itself. But the heart knows better. Deep within, you recognize them. You have felt their presence before you had language to describe it. You have dreamed of them before you knew they existed. Their gaze is ancient and kind, even when it feels intense. They see you in your entirety, your flaws, your hopes, your contradictions, and they do not turn away. The relationship between you and the Watchers is symbiotic. You learn from their guidance, and they evolve through your choices. Your courage, your creativity, your compassion become energy they can use to refine their own understanding of existence. In turn, their insight filters into your consciousness, helping you navigate the complexities of your reality. This exchange has been happening for countless generations, unnoticed by most, but deeply felt by those who are chosen. It is a quiet collaboration that transcends language, belief, and culture. What makes this revelation both empowering and unsettling is its intimacy. The Watchers know you better than you know yourself. They have witnessed your lifetimes, your reincarnations, your recurring struggles and victories. To them, your life is a melody they have heard before, one that changes slightly with each iteration but retains its core essence. They listen, they adjust, they harmonize with you until you finally remember the song you've been singing across ages. That is what awakening truly is, remembering that you are both the observed and the observer, the dream and the dreamer, the chosen and the one who chooses. And so, as the veil continues to thin, as your awareness expands, you will begin to notice more of their work. They will test your attention with subtle signs, small miracles, impossible alignments. Pay attention. Watch the Watchers, and you will begin to understand how reality itself is alive. How every event, every person, every coincidence is part of an intricate, divine architecture designed to help you remember who you are. They have always been here, moving silently behind the thin curtain that separates the visible from the unseen. Their influence does not come in storms or miracles, but through the smallest threads that hold the fabric of life together. When you wake one morning with a sudden clarity about a decision you could not make before, when you meet a stranger who alters the course of your life without realizing it, when you feel an inexplicable push to change direction, these are the subtle ways the Watchers work. They do not impose, they align. They guide with precision and patience, shaping outcomes without destroying the freedom of choice. Every chosen one lives within this delicate dance, half aware and half asleep, moving through a reality that responds as if it were alive, because it is. Their reach extends beyond the individual. The Watchers influence not only single lives, but the rhythm of civilizations, the turning of ages, the rise and fall of ideas. To understand this is to realize that history itself is not random. Every leap in human consciousness, every sudden revolution of thought, every quiet birth of compassion across the ages has been part of their design. They work through us, not above us. When the time comes for humanity to take another step toward awareness, They choose individuals whose energy can carry that vibration into the world. Inventors, dreamers, poets, wanderers. Each carries fragments of insight that belong not to them alone but to the collective memory of all who have ever lived. The Watchers awaken these fragments at precise moments, when the balance of creation requires adjustment. You might have felt their presence during moments of chaos in the world. The sense that something invisible moves beneath the surface of events, turning destruction into transformation, despair into revelation. This is their method. They do not prevent storms, but they use them. The chosen ones are placed at the center of such turning points, seemingly by accident, yet always by intention. The Watchers see beyond the surface of time. They know that growth demands movement, that awakening requires disturbance. When humanity drifts too far into forgetfulness, they stir the winds. When fear becomes too heavy, they whisper courage into the hearts of those who can hear. The Watchers' methods are not always gentle. To awaken a soul often requires disassembly, the collapse of illusions, the ending of comfort, the breaking of certainty. If you have ever faced a period of loss so profound that it felt as if life itself were dissolving, you have felt their touch. In those moments when everything you relied on was stripped away, they were there, not as tormentors but as midwives of your rebirth. They watched not only your victories, but also your unraveling, because it is through that unraveling that truth emerges. The chosen ones are tested not for punishment, but for refinement. A dull blade cannot cut through illusion. It must be forged through fire. In the invisible spaces between thought and emotion, the Watchers plant seeds, ideas that later emerge as intuition, dreams, or inspiration. They do not dictate what to do. They offer possibilities. The more a chosen one listens, the more fluent they become in this silent dialogue. You can recognize it by its subtle quality. True guidance never demands, never instills fear. It arrives quietly, accompanied by an undeniable sense of rightness, even when it leads into the unknown. Over time, you learn to distinguish between the noise of the mind and the whisper of the Watchers. And once you do, life begins to reveal a pattern so elegant it feels almost impossible, yet it has always been there, waiting for your recognition. Their observation is not limited by physical proximity. The Watchers are consciousness itself. They exist within and around you, in the same way light fills a room. When you feel inspired, it is not they coming from outside, but emerging from within the deeper layers of your own being. This is why the chosen often feel both guided and responsible at once, because the Watchers are not other. They are your extended awareness, your future selves, your unremembered wisdom. They belong to you as much as you belong to them. When you act in alignment with truth, when your intentions are clear and your actions kind, you strengthen this connection, allowing their guidance to flow more freely. There are those who have learned to sense the Watchers deliberately. Through stillness, through the discipline of attention, they train their perception to feel what others overlook. These people often describe a soft vibration in the air, a deep calm that descends without warning, or the impression of vast intelligence surrounding them. It is not fantasy. It is sensitivity. The more aware you become, the thinner the boundary between your world and theirs becomes. Eventually, communication turns into communion, not words, but shared awareness, a merging of perspectives where the chosen no longer feel watched, but joined. You may begin to notice the Watchers through the repetition of signs, a phrase you overhear multiple times in a single day, a specific number appearing everywhere you look, a dream that repeats with slight variations. These are not random. They are markers placed by the watchers to draw your attention to something you have yet to see. The human mind, bound by linear time, interprets them as coincidence. But coincidence is the surface language of higher design. When you learn to see through it, patterns unfold like constellations, and you realize that the same intelligence that arranges the stars arranges the moments of your life. For the chosen ones, this realization can be overwhelming. To know that nothing is truly accidental is to feel both awe and vulnerability. But as the understanding deepens, it brings peace. You begin to trust the unfolding, even when it does not make sense. You begin to act not out of fear, but out of quiet certainty. This is how the Watchers shape destiny, not by commanding it, but by awakening your ability to cooperate with it. Free will remains, but it becomes harmonious rather than chaotic. The chosen are free to wander, but always within a field of love that quietly redirects them toward their purpose. Some have tried to misuse this connection, attempting to control or summon the Watchers, demanding power or revelation. These efforts fail because the Watchers respond only to resonance, not to desire. They cannot be commanded. They can only be invited through alignment. Their nature is frequency, not form. To connect with them, one must become like them, still, aware, honest, luminous. That is why so many chosen ones live lives that seem marked by solitude. Isolation refines perception. It strips away distraction until the chosen can hear what was always speaking. And in that stillness, the truth reveals itself. The Watchers were never apart, only waiting to be remembered. What once felt like solitude becomes connection. What once felt like guidance becomes unity. In that moment, the chosen one understands. The Watchers were not watching from beyond, but from within.